Hey there, YouTube. So we've been working on the 1970 Olds Cutlass that had the 350 rocket in that. The purpose of this video is to have all the different videos that I shot during this rebuild all in one spot. You'll also find these videos assorted and individualized within my channel as well. So what we've been doing is we've been tearing apart the motor after we got it up on that engine stand. It fit well on the engine stand. It's a little heavy, but not too bad. But we went ahead and tore apart the motor and got it all down pretty much to the bare block with the crankshaft in it. After we took it down to the bare block, we pretty much spent, I don't know, probably about 2 or 3 days scrubbing and cleaning the block with oven degreaser and other cleaners, trying to get it to a really good state so that way we can paint it. So after we tore that apart and got it into a good state so that way we actually paint it, we taped it off. Then I used the Duplicolor gold engine enamel paint. I wanted to take it back to Oldsmobile Gold, and I went ahead and painted the block, painted the valve covers, and painted the oil pan all at the same time, also with the timing chain cover, trying to just make it look really good. And man, the results were amazing, as you can tell. But now that we have that all painted, we can just go ahead and jump right into the first things first, doing the expansion plugs, or as some people call them, freeze plugs. So let's get started on this.
So out here working on the Olds 350, and right now we're doing freeze plugs. We just got done painting, and we got to put the freeze plugs back in. I went with brass freeze plugs. You see I already put one in right here. We're going to go ahead and put in another one, and I'm going to show you how we are going to do that. So here's the brass freeze plug, or the more correct term is expansion plug. Freeze plugs is just another benefit of having them where they are, but they're actually expansion plugs. So what we're going to do is go ahead and put some gasket sealer around there, some RTV, and we're going to go ahead and knock this baby into the hole. So with the RTV, we're just going to go ahead and put it right there on the, I put it on the bottom lip, a little bit easier for cleanup. You don't need a lot really, because it likes to go ahead and expand out and come out the top. So then you have a little bit more cleanup. But I mean, you definitely want to put enough on there. That way it seals up good. So just put it all the way around the edge here. You meet back. And then make sure it's all set. There we go. Alright, now that we go ahead and got that gasket sealer all over it, just going to take the lip here and just going to put it into the hole as cleanly as possible. Just going to push down a little bit. Now I'm going to take my socket. This one's a 24 millimeter. I'm just going to stick that right in the center. There's actual tools for this, but sockets seem to work pretty well. Gonna hit it. And what you're shooting for is it being flush all the way around here. Once you think you got it good, you're gonna want to take a paper towel, or whatever you got, shop towel, clean up the excess here. You want a nice pretty engine here. I would recommend wiping it towards the expansion plug. That way it doesn't get into all the little divots on the engine and the casting. And then you just clean it all out. And it's looking pretty good. There we go. You see the nice little bead of gasket maker all the way around there on both of them. And we're gonna go ahead and do the rest of them. But yeah, same process all the way around. And then you also have the camshaft plug near the camshaft that we got to do. And but yeah, you get the idea. I'll show you guys the next thing once we're ready. Well, there we go. Went ahead and did both sides. Looking good. I'll be doing the camshaft plug off camera. Well, today we're back at it again with the Olds 350 engine. Today I'm doing camshaft bearings. Camshaft bearings that are in it, probably original or probably a little bit older than or a little bit newer than original. But I'm taking them out right now. I've been using, I got the first two out already. I got the number 1 and number 2 out right now. But I got to take this third one out down here. And what I'm using is probably what most people use, or if they don't have the tool, they're just using sockets. This is a large 3/4 inch drive, inch and 3/8 socket. It's working well for the number 2 and number 3. But yeah, I'm just kind of, I got it onto a long attachment, 1/2 inch drive attachment. What I've been doing is just been sliding it in, being very careful all the way through, getting it lined up very well. And then on the end here, just tapping them all the way out. So I'm going to go ahead and tap this one out, and we'll take a look after. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how far I've got this one so far. You can see the bearing lip is sticking out quite a ways past. So just a little bit further and we'll get that baby on out. So there we go, went all the way through. You just kind of pick up the cam bearing on out of there, and there it is. So everything looks really good on it. I took it out very, very well. I would highly recommend, oh, looks like they've been changed before. So it says Cleveite on the edge right there. But yep, still wanted to do it since I'm rebuilding this, so we'll go ahead and take the rest of them out off camera, and I'll show you how I'm going to put them back in. And there we go. We got all the bearings out, all the way through. Everything's looking great. So now we're going to go ahead and start installing the new ones. Now, if you've never done camshaft bearings before, most camshaft bearings come in like a box like this here. But if you open the box, most of the time there's going to be a little position 1, position 2, position 3 like diagram right here. And for my case, all mine are different for the most part. So each one goes into a different spot. So position 1 is position 1 right here in the front, and then that's near the timing chain cover. So position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way in the back. So we need to make sure we put them in the right spot. So we're going to go ahead and put number 5 in the back there. So let's get started on that. So I don't know about you guys, but I personally can't afford the camshaft bearing install tool. So I went on YouTube and researched a few ways that maybe possibly I can make one. And one YouTuber suggested this idea, and I really liked it, so I went ahead and made it. So it's an expansion plug. I have a 2-inch to 2 1/4 inch expansion plug here. It's picked up from a good site, or sorry, a good good auto parts store. And then I took an old socket, one that I didn't care about, and I welded it to it. But you're thinking, hey, well, how are you going to get it to tighten up? Well, before I welded it to it, I put a 1/4-inch drive socket that fit the nut in there to inside there. I can just weld this off, or break the weld off after and get my socket back. But for the meantime, it's going to be a great way to be able to tighten this up. So that way, once I put the camshaft bearing on there, put it on just the right spot, and then I can just tighten it up. And then once I get it tight, and then I install it into the bearing hole, and then as you can see, it doesn't come off at all. And then I take my 1/4-inch drive ratchet in there and just put it in there, and then slides right off. So this was my quick fix for a $200 tool for $5. Plus I got a welder, so it was beneficial for me. So this is my idea that I took off another YouTuber. So credits to him, but this is going to work great. So also this is a 1/2-inch drive, so similar to how I took the bearings out, I got to put the bearings back in a very similar way. So I went ahead and tested it real quick and made sure that everything's working okay. So I put 2 bearings in already. There's one, here's the other. And you can look down the oil gallery hole. Everything's lined up just fine. A little hard to see. There it is. I'm going to push that one in a little bit further. I can do that luckily with my tool that I have here. So we're going to go ahead and do number 3 right here. So I'm going to get set up and we'll start putting that baby in. Sorry, number 3 right here. So I got number 3 camshaft bearing here. I'm going to take it, put it on my tool. I'm going to just snug it up for now. Luckily with how this install tool is, it has a little bit of rubber all the way around the back edge that's smashed over. Now what we don't do on my Oldsmobile 350, I want to make sure that the oil hole is up top. So I'm going to drop this in here. Get it all lined up here. Take my 1/4-inch drive ratchet, and we're going to go ahead and tighten that up. Okay, it's nice and tight there on the camshaft bearing. And we're just going to go ahead and take this one out of here now. Take my 1/2-inch drive extensions, slide it in here. All right, now it's starting to go here. I'm going to zoom in on this. Alright, like we bottomed out here. So we'll just take that out without having to loosen it up. And it's going to look down the top here. Take this bearing out. You can actually see down here anyways. But there it is. You can see my finger go through there. We're all lined up. Oil's going to flow great. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these out. Hopefully this helped you out with your cam installation. Now that we got the cam bearings all in, we're going to go ahead and start doing the main bearings. That way we put this crankshaft down. So the first step is I got my Fel Pro gasket set. The gasket set came with the new ropes, so that way I can put the main cap on, the biggest cap on. So we're gonna have those, and then I also got my main bearings here too. So I got these through Sealed Power, but yeah, I got all those right in there. So we're gonna go ahead and start laying these bearings out, and we'll put the bottom ones on, and we'll see where we get. So I went ahead and cleaned all of the bearings with the little bit of grease or stuff on it, so that way they don't rust. But what we're going to do is we're going to check all the bearing clearances to make sure that they're correct for these bearings to the crankshaft. So before putting any assembly lube or anything like that on this, we're going to fit each one of the bearings dry, and then we're going to lay the crankshaft down in there. Not going to spin it. And then we're going to lay a piece of plastic gauge. If you don't know how to use plastic gauge, there's lots of videos out there on YouTube to learn how to use it. But we're going to lay a piece of plastic gauge on there, and then we're going to put the main caps on with the bearings, and then we're going to tighten them down to torque specifications in order. That way we are going to learn what the clearances are, and we'll make sure that we're within spec. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll take a look after the main caps are taken off again. Okay, we're going to go ahead and torque these down to 80 foot-pounds for bearing caps 1 through 4 here, and then 120 pounds for bearing cap 5 per the specs from Oldsmobile. Okay, now that we have all the bolts torqued down to their specifications, we're going to go ahead and take the bearings back off, or the main bearing caps, and then we're going to take a look and see what we're set at for the clearances. Now that we've got all of them torqued down, let's go ahead and loosen up each one of them, and we'll take a look to see how the plastic gauge looks. And we'll go ahead and take a look here. Now there's the plastic gauge right there, and we'll go ahead and take a look with the gauge and see how it looks. So with the gauge up there, so with the gauge up here, take a look, and it's 0.002 of an inch. So that is the correct clearance for these bearings, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at each one of the other ones and make sure they're correct, but that is looking really good. So we're going to go ahead and take those caps off and take a look at a few others. Okay, like I mentioned, we're going to take a look at the rest of those, and that one looking pretty dang good too. This one fell off to the side a little bit. That's looking good. That one's looking really good. And the end one. Oh yeah, I'm happy with those clearances. So I'm gonna go ahead and lube up those bearings. And well, I'm gonna take the crankshaft out, clean it. Then we're gonna lube up the bearings with assembly lube. And then we'll put it back together and torque it down tight again. There we go. Crankshaft is in. Looking good. Alright guys, today we're going to be installing the pistons within the Olds 350 rocket. I got all the piston holes already honed out. This engine's been bored 20 over quite some time ago, but I could tell that by seeing that there was a 2-0 right here on each one of the pistons. I went ahead and cleaned up the pistons a little bit. I installed new rings all the way around on all 8 of them that are also 20 over. Those were from Hastings. You can see right here the piston says this is towards the front. So what we're going to do is we're going to be putting our piston in our compressor. Another quick thing to note is that each piston, the rod is stamped with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, or sorry, all the way up to 8. Each rod is stamped, so that way we won't get this wrong. So number 1 piston is in the front driver's side part. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what we're going to do is just going to go ahead and compress this down here so the rings will fit. We'll slide it down in there, peck it with the backside of the hammer, the handle side, and then we'll get it to seat down onto the crankshaft on that rod bearing. So we'll go ahead and do that. Another quick thing to note is to make sure you have your piston rings lined up correctly. So this is the front of the engine here. So your expansion rings, I'm going to have one at around 10 o'clock, one at around like 7:30. Sorry, this one's around 10:30, this one's around 7:30. And then the oil guide rings, my box says that you should have them flipped all the way around to the back side over here. And the same kind of way, 1.5 inches from the center where the wrist pin, it kind of runs parallel with that. So I'm going to put this one about 1.5 inches up from the wrist pin, and then I'll do the other one about 1.5 inches downwards. We'll just put them all right here at this notch and up here. All right, well, I like how that looks. So we'll go ahead and compress these rings. We'll make sure they stay in place here, and we'll get this hit on in. Okay, now that we got the piston into the cylinder hole and I pushed it up towards the top and I put the bearing on the bottom side, I'm going to put the bearing on the top side now, but what we're going to want to do is we're going to check some bearing clearances using the plastic gauge again. So if you didn't watch my video when we did the crankshaft, go back and watch that one if you want to learn how to do the plastic gauge again. But we're just going to stick a small piece on this guy, just to figure out what we're looking at. Okay, got my 9/16 12 point, because these are 12 point. I'm going to dial my torque wrench into 42 foot-pounds. And that is what the Chilton manual said. And then just gonna let it sit there for a minute. Remember, don't want to, you do not want to go back or spin the crankshaft while you're doing this, because you're gonna mess up your plasta gauge. So now with that on there for a minute, we're just gonna break these loose. And then pull the rod bearing cap. Okay, and we can go ahead and look at this clearance here. As you can see, let's see here if we can find this. Looks like it's right there. So it looks like, let's see if I can, we are in specification for this motor. Like I said, this was a 10 over crankshaft, so it was bored, or it was already milled down a little bit, so I got oversized bearings, and these bearings are working perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one back on after cleaning it and lubricating it, and we'll spin over each one as we go. I'll show you what it looks like after we have all the pistons in. Alright, quick update here. We got the all the pistons in. Still have some cleanup to do on the where the head gasket goes, but all the pistons are in. I went ahead and put in the comp cam, lubed that all up. This is the comp cam thumper cam, and next we're going to be installing the double roller timing chain set. We got that right here. That's through comp cam as well. So we're going to go ahead and do that now off camera. Alright, so since we got the comp cam double roller, there's a few different marks on this smaller timing gear. We got the circle, square, and triangle. Circle is 0, square is 4 degrees retard, and triangle is 4 degrees advance. We're going to just go 0, and we're going to go ahead and put the bottom cog on, and then we'll put the top cog on. And what that's going to do then is once we get those on, we're going to line those up. So 0 is going to be here, then there's a 0 mark on the top cog, and we'll line those up with the chain. So. All right, we went ahead and put that timing chain set on, and we got the fuel pump part on there too. And then we also have to put on one little piece that covers over that cog. But yeah, that's all on. We're going to torque this down. I got to look in the book, see what that spec is. Well, we're going to move on to the next thing, which is probably the oil pump and oil pan. So we'll get there. All right, we went ahead and put the oil pump on here. So oil pump's in a good position. Everything's looking good. Bolts torqued down. Next, what we're going to do is put on the timing chain cover. I already put the new seal in, and we're going to put the gasket on, and we're going to just go ahead and seal that baby up. There we go. We went ahead and put the oil pan on with the front timing chain cover. I might go through and paint all the bolts black, but for now I just cleaned them off really good and making them look pretty good. It's a temporary oil pan. I might change it soon, but it's looking great. Go ahead and flip it over here, then think what's next are the head, the harmonic balancer, the water pump. We'll keep moving. Here's a quick shot from it on the top view. We're going to clean up some of the gasket maker after it hardens. Probably do it tomorrow. But nice clean shot on top. Well, I've done a few things. Since I've last did a video. Went ahead and put the timing chain cover on. I showed you that. But I went and put the water pump on, harmonic balancers on. It's all painted. Same with the little timing guide on the side. And then, as you see, the water pump's on. Or sorry, the oil pan's on. So yeah, just kind of making my way through things as I go. I also rebuilt this head over here. So tomorrow it's going to get cleaned up. I took out each one of the valves, cleaned them up, and put new valve guides in. A little plastic piece. So yeah, things are going great. I'll keep you updated. So I went ahead and tore apart this head right here. As you can see, all the valves are out, all the springs and valves are down here, cleaned up, ready to go back in. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting in all these valves, and we'll look at it again when it's done. So we got the head gaskets on the cylinders, pretty much on the block, waiting for the cylinder heads to dry. They're currently painted and just waiting to be dried. So hopefully, probably tomorrow, we'll probably put those on, take off the tape and see what she looks like. But yeah, looking pretty good so far. Well, we went ahead and put the heads set on there with the head gaskets. I untaped everything. Looking really good. Oh yeah. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and torque down all those head bolts, and then we'll take a look after that. Alright, head bolts are torqued down all the way throughout. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put all the lifters in, the lifter valley here. Right now they're all soaking. That's what Comp Cam said to do, is soak the lifters. Don't press the oils into them, but just soak them. And then we're going to go ahead and put those in there as they say, and then we'll put the push rods up and hook the rockers on.
Now you can see that I went ahead and installed the lifters, also the push rods, and put the rocker arms all on the engine. I wasn't able to capture this. Phone was dead at that time, but it is all put on there, and we're ready to prime the oil pump.
Here's a little review of the oil pressure tester that I ended up using for this job. It's a Harbor Freight. I think it was about 20-30 bucks for this thing. Comes with all the fittings. Standard fitting is the one I used. I didn't need any adapter. Worked great. Highly recommend it. Like I said, about 20-30 bucks. So here's the oil I ended up using for the break-in period with my new cam and new bearings and everything like that. So I'm using Pen Grade SA30 break-in oil, and then the higher quality Wix filter. That thing's huge, by the way. Just sits there on the side. But yeah, that thing's huge. But yep, I recommend this stuff. At least that was recommended to me. I'm going to be priming the oil pump on this Olds 350 small block. So as you can see, I got the oil pressure gauge right here. It's hooked up right there. I didn't use any nylon threading, so there's a little bit of a pressure cry coming out from or oil coming out from the side of it, but we're just going to go ahead and say there might be a teeny bit of loss of pressure from that, but not too worried about it. And then also have the 5/16 socket down on the oil pump drive, and I have a tape down there, and then we have it long extension here. So I'm just going to take my drill. Now when you put your drill on here, you need to make sure it's reversible, because the oil pump drive shaft runs counterclockwise. So let's go ahead and start the drill up. Good oil pressure. oil coming out of the lifters, up the push rods, onto the rocker arm. Everything's looking very good. So once again, let's take a look at this oil pressure. And I have a pretty crappy drill, battery powered, so it's not very, very strong. That's probably a little bit why I'm only getting 45 pounds too. So now with validating that we have good oil pressure in this 350 Oldsmobile, we're going to be installing the new gasket for the intake. So we got the one rubber gasket there, one rubber gasket in the back. Felpro says to also put dabs of gasket maker RTV black right here, 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 and here. So that way it's all in the four corners, so when the intake meets the gasket, it's going to seal up nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. So Felpro said to apply a thin set of gasket maker on the intake ports, and then on the water ports, use an 1/8 inch bead all the way around. So we went ahead and did that on the bottom side of the pan. Now we're just going to go ahead and set the pan down on top of it. Okay, I ran out of the black silicone that they supplied with it, so I switched over to my gray. Everything's all sealed up. It's ready for the intake to be set down on top of this. I'm going to probably go ahead and clean up the bolts real quick before we put this down, but yeah, everything's looking great with this, so we're just going to go ahead and set that down on top of there. Now I went ahead and installed the intake on top of the engine. All the bolts are tightened down to 15 foot-pounds at first, just to get the gasket to set up correctly. And then next we're going to go through and do all of them at 40 foot-pounds, as is illustrated in my Chilton manual. So I'm going to go through each one of these and do it at 14 pounds in the pattern that it's described. It's usually start from the inside and then you start going to the outside. But look it up online. Actually, I can show you real quick what it looks like. So there's the intake manifold in my book, and that is how you should tighten it. So I'll go ahead and do that. And like I said, 15 foot-pounds at first, and then 40 foot-pounds the second time around. Oh, it actually looks like you do from the outside in, so that's good. And there we go. We got the Edelbrock Performer intake all installed on top of the engine. And now we're going to do the water neck and the fill pump. So here's the chrome water neck. You see it looks really, really nice. Comes with 2 bolts. I've had a few people say, hey, these chrome water necks, they flake, they are not as good as factory. Hopefully we don't have any issues later down the road, but I'm going to go ahead and install it. So I'll go ahead and do that. So I'm not using the intake gasket that was supplied. I have a Felpro one from my Felpro kit. I'm going to go ahead and use that one. And we're just going to set this baby right on top. And we'll tighten it down to the torque specifications. Well, it's installed. It looks okay to me. I'm not 100% sold on it yet. I don't know if it matches, but we're gonna leave it on there for now, and we'll see. So, well, here's the new fuel pump. Got it from CarQuest. It's the 3-line one. I hope I got the right one. If not, I'll have to return it to get the 2-line. I'm pretty sure the research I've done, I got a 3-line. I gotta confirm it tomorrow. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and install it tonight, so I can take a look, see how it looks. But we're not gonna use the gaskets that's supplied with it. We're gonna use the Felpro that we have, and we'll go ahead and put it on there. So here's the gasket already on there. As you see, you have 1 stud, and then you're gonna have 1 bolt that goes in there. So the stud just helps you so you can align it, and then the bolt will actually secure it on the bottom. Then you use the nut to put the top on. We're going to go ahead and stick the shaft in that hole, and then we'll line that up and make sure it's all lined up on the camshaft well. So I already adjusted the cam to the right position to make this fit in here the easiest. I'm just going to go ahead and maneuver it in there. And just like that, we have it all lined up, and you just have to put the bolts in and the nut on. So I went ahead and put in one bolt on there. I can't find the nut for that, and I don't seem to have any lying around that I can use. So I'm going to leave it off, and I'm going to go ahead and put that back on once I figure out what kind of nut that is.
So there it is, the finished product. Everything except the carburetor is on it. I had the problem with the carburetor where some of the throttle connections were hitting the intake, so I have to get a spacer for it. But that is it. She is all done. So if you have any questions, please feel free to comment. Ask me anything about my rebuild. I'd be more than happy to share with you. It was an awesome rebuild. I can't wait to put it in the engine. I will definitely show you the type of mad burnouts that it's going to do once it's back in the car. But yeah, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And please make sure to like and subscribe to me. Thank you.